carpenter, and I can recall some of the names of the places that he worked for as a builder, but I just can't think of it right now. And then my oldest brother, he was his name was Sammy Roseman Jr. He was a sibling by my mother's first husband. He was a Roseman, and he was a graduate of Prairie View A&M College and had a degree in mathematics. If I did not destroy him, I still have his school records, like his college records, and I counted up his hours one year, just for one semester, from 1 year for 2 semesters, and he had enough grade points almost to graduate at just doing that first year. He was extremely smart.
Anyone that majors in math has my sympathies and
must
be very intelligent.
He was a very intelligent person.
Tell me a little about where you lived, the street and maybe the section.
Here in Cooper, I live like on the north side of town, which was a four-room house. We had no bathroom, so we bathed in what you call the number 3 tub, and we had the outdoor facilities. So, but our house was a modest place, very well kept clean, but that is where I grew up at. And then we lived before my dad and mother built this little house, we lived in a section here in Cooper, and that was a little place called Red Row. All of the houses were red, and they were in a row. All of them was red, and they were in a row. And these houses were owned by Judy Fall's daddy, Quentin Miller, which I remember quite well. He was very good to us when we were growing up here. If we needed, one time when the bicycles got really popular here, children were selfish as they are now, some of them were, and we wanted to ride the other children's bicycles, and they would not let us. Well, that hurt my mother deeply. So she went to Mr. Quentin Miller and to see if he would let us have bicycles on credit, and then we could pay him back in the fall of the year by picking cotton and paying him back, and it was no problem at all. We got our new bicycles.
Now this area where you live, was that an all
it was
black?
It was an all black area. As strange as it may seem, it was just like a street that separated us, though. Like, we lived on the back street, the white folks lived on the front street, which was the main highway here through Cooper. And I think I don't know if it's 19 or 24, but it was just like the main strip here in Cooper. But we lived on the back street and they lived on the front street. That was the only thing that separated us.
So maybe one of your houses would have backed up against a white person's house.
Yeah, either the white person's house would have backed up against our house, of our house. But yeah, it was predominantly all black in my neighborhood.
And then when you moved from, was it Red
Row? That was the north side where we lived. My parents built a little house up there. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you about Saturday night downtown. Did you all go downtown Saturday night and walk the
That
streets, or was
that was one of the most fun times here when I was a child, was to go to town on a Saturday night. There would be so many people on the square. The square right here now is what we would call, we didn't say downtown, we said uptown. So we would go uptown and there would be wall to wall people. You just had to shrug your way through the crowd. And at that particular time there were, like, right here in Cooper now, there's only like one major grocery store here. At that time here in Cooper, we had a minimum, I bet you, I can name you 5 or 6 grocery stores that was right there on the square here in Cooper. At least 5 major grocery stores.
What was there any issue with walking downtown?
No.
In terms of race?
Racism? No, there was not. There was none whatsoever. You know, we seem to tend to our business and stuff, and the whites tend to theirs. There was no biracial, not to me as a child, there were no biracial slurs, things like that. Perhaps there might have been at some certain times to different people, things, but I certainly had no problems with it here. Not even once that I can ever call, like being, like ever being called like a nigger or something like that. No, I never had that to happen to me here.
Now you went to Booker T.
Washington.
Okay, and that was what, grades 1 through 12? 1 through
12. For a long time, our school just went from the first grade, primer grade, through the 10th grade, and then, just say for instance, my oldest brother, when he graduated from the 10th grade here in Cooper, well then he had to go over to Paris, Texas, which is 22 miles north of here, and to finish high school. He went to Paris, Texas, and he would catch the bus on Sunday evenings and go there. My mother had rented him a room over in Cooper at a rooming house over there so that he was able to get his education. And he graduated from Paris High School, which was then known as Gibbons High School because there was no integration at that time. He graduated from Gibbons High.
Well, your mother must have trusted him if he was living on his own up there.
Well, she did. She did. I mean, he was, you know, like a teenager, but she had, you know, like he lived in a private home, like just not like, you know, like he was just living in a hotel or motel. He lived with a family over there, and they were called the Hooks. They were the Hooks family, and my brother was treated just like a member of their family, you know, over there.
Now he was an older brother.
He was my mother's. He was